Now getting into some top 30 visits. That sound good, boys?
Yeesh.
I'll tell you, man, this was an exciting day. All day long, I was out there on the grind, and I know, Jacob, you were at the office, and Tim was doing way more important things. And boy, oh boy, they just came. It was like the floodgates opened earlier today as Easton Butler was tweeting these out. They came from Tom Silverstein, I believe, had one or two of these as well. But Packers reportedly schedule a top 30 visit with Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa, however you want to say his name. I think it's Tetairoa McMillan.
Here's the guy.
So, guys, no secret, this is the top receiver on our board. He's actually the number 5 prospect. Before we dive into the PFF grades and everything else, what's your all's initial thoughts on Tet McMillan? Is it something that if he falls to 23, great, but if you could trade up and get him, would you be willing to trade up and get him? How do you guys feel about this? I'll start with you this time, Jake.
Man, I believe at this point that if Tet falls at 23, I would be totally fine with us taking the pick. In a weird way, I almost would feel better if we just didn't have to deal with that situation and we maybe focused on a D lineman or an edge or something, a cornerback that was more of a striking, glaring need, in my opinion. McMillan is definitely a freak of nature in certain aspects, but in others, he's a little bit lacking. I mean, the guy probably runs an actual 4.6 40. You know what I mean? Is he the actual type of X receiver that's going to dictate that people change coverages for him? I don't honestly think that anymore. Whereas I did think he was a bigger difference maker when I just kind of saw a lot of the stats and a lot of the highlights and that kind of stuff. I'm at the point now where I don't think that he's the type of player that's going to be an immediate gem in the wide receiver room. I would much rather have Jaden Higgins. I would much rather have, I think, even Trey Harris for the value. And I'd much rather have Torrey Horton in like the 3rd or 4th if we could snag him. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'd still, if he's there at 23, that'd be a really interesting choice to have. And I'd be totally fine with it. It's just, that's how I feel.
Got it. What about you, Tim?
I'll probably back you up on that one, Jacob. I agree. I think trading up to get him is a bit of a reach. I do think, though, at 23, and we want a receiver, if we break the mold and take a first-round pick wide receiver, T-Mac's one of those names that's you got to think of. You know, there's that handful of names that you might use a first-round pick on at wide receiver, and I certainly think he's one of them. That being said, I don't see them aggressively pursuing him and giving up draft capital to go up and get him. So I'm with you. You know, I like Jaden Higgins. You know, there's been no secret about that. And I do think that there is some, you know, early to mid-round receiver value, you know, 2nd, 3rd round. But then, you know, we talked about corner being kind of thin after, you know, those top 40 guys. It's receivers very close to that as well. But there is some talent in this draft. So, you know, I'm not super high on T-Mac. I know a lot of people are. But I'm not low on him either. So I think if they want to pull the trigger on a wideout at 23 and he's on the board, we should not be surprised at all if they do in fact draft him.
And keep in mind, Brian Gutekunst was the only general manager at his pro day, and they have him in for a top 30 visit. So really, really interesting. Coach Lynn says, would love McMillan in the first. Ball skills are crazy good. The other thing about McMillan that stood out to me, and we're going to get into the full scouting report now, his fluidity in and out of the breaks. Like he does not move like he's 6'4". Like this dude is just so smooth in transitioning. He's a volleyball player as well. He's got extreme body control. The production was just crazy off the charts from the time he stepped in as a freshman in college as well. So let's get into it. The Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Arizona wide receiver Tet McMillan. Per team sources, eyeing him as a potential number 1 receiver in the 2025 NFL Draft. Ranked number 5 on our PTA big board, McMillan brings a towering 6'4", 219-pound frame with elite ball skills and versatility, offering Green Bay a matchup nightmare capable of dominating as an X or Z receiver to elevate their passing attack.
Look at that photo right there too in the Patreon, man. Nothing like a stiff arm while getting face masked, you know. Yeah. At least we know T-Mac is not afraid of confrontation out there at all.
And here's what we got in high school. Scouting report coming out of high school was a 5-star recruit from Servite High School in Anaheim, California in the 2022 class. Tet McMillan earned a 96.45 grade from On3. That's out of 100, by the way. ranking as the number 37 overall prospect and number 4 wide receiver nationally at 6'5", 190. Obviously, you notice how every one of these reports they're an inch taller than they actually are. It's funny how they all do that. He showcased exceptional size, hands, and body control, recording 88 receptions for 1,302 yards and 18 touchdowns as a senior, earning California State Player of the Year honors. A 3-sport athlete, football, basketball, volleyball. His basketball background highlighted his leaping ability and coordination. McMillan committed to Arizona over offers from Oregon, USC, LSU, Miami, Notre Dame, Texas, and Penn State. Seen as a rare talent and immediate college impact potential. So there's what he does good, obviously, man. High pointing the ball. This dude is a possession receiver for sure. College statistics. McMillan's 3-year career at Arizona from 22 to 24 showcased consistent dominance with 0 fumbles across his tenure. In 2022, he played 12 games, recording 39 catches for 702 yards and 8 touchdowns, leading all true freshmen nationally in receiving yards. In 2023, he played 13 games, recording 90 catches for 1,402 yards and 10 touchdowns, earning second-team All-Pac-12 and third-team All-American honors. In 2024, he played 12 games, recording 84 catches, 1,319 yards, and 8 touchdowns, including a program record 304 yards against New Mexico, earning first-team All-Big 12 and first-team All-American honors. His career totals were 37 games, 213 receptions, 3,423 yards. That's a school record, and 26 touchdowns. When you look at the PFF grades, 2022 as a true freshman, 66.5. In 2023, jumped all the way to an 87.4. 2024, he drops back to an 84.8. So his sophomore year in college, he was the highest graded receiver. Now you got the production, you've got the PFF grades, you've got the scouting report from high school. Like everything, there was not one point throughout his career so far where he dipped. Like, he took a step back. Injuries as well. I think he had like a preseason injury that they set him out for camp, and then he was ready to go and didn't miss very minimal time if he did it all. The other thing I want to point out, look at the slot snaps at 117. So he can kick inside of the slot as well. You got 588 out wide, 117 in the slot, so you got some versatility there. Here's the detailed scouting report entering the draft. This is from Dane Brugler, okay? A 3-year starter at Arizona, McMillan flexed across the formation, 78.1% of his snaps wide, 21.6% in the slot. In the Wildcats spread scheme, Dino Babers and Matt Atkins share play calling duties in 2024, while catching passes from his longtime best friend Noah Fafita, the Hawaiian native, was one of the most productive players in college football over the past 2 seasons. He led the FBS in combined receiving yards at 27-21, first downs at 112, and catches of 20 yards or more with 42. Showing off his volleyball and basketball background, McMillan shines at the catch point and uses his Gumby-like body adjustment skills to frame the football with his hands regardless of the placement or action required. With heavy helpings of slants, hitches, and go routes on tape, he is at his best when he can stretch out his stride. He has the feet of a smaller athlete, but will need time to expand his route tree and pacing to avoid giving away subtle hints that savvy NFL corners will notice. Overall, McMillan is only average in the speed and separation categories, but he is long and limber athlete with exceptional tracking and ball-winning instincts. He fits the T. Higgins mold as a unique playmaker because of his size and catch point skills. Here are his strengths. Tall, long, and limber athlete with volleyball background, exceptional ball skills, and consistently stabs away from body with large hands, massive catch radius with length and body control to contort frame to off-target throws. Catch point focus looks the same whether wide open or in a crowd, so he doesn't get kind of hindered by there being bodies around him, right? Consistently works back to the pass instead of waiting for it, like that. Finishes the catch strong to the ground. Galloping route strides help him reach top speed quickly. That's that stride length that Greg Cosell talks about all the time. Light feet to cleanly sink and pivot at the top of routes. Heightened awareness along sideline to get feet down inbounds. Slippery after the catch and knack for hitting the brakes post-catch and smoothly redirecting away from pursuit. Terrific run balance as a ball carrier, number 3 among FBS receivers with 28 forced missed tackles in 2024. So he's not just a jump ball guy. He's making guys miss with yak. Average sustained strength, but uses body well to shield as a blocker. Sells Nalo apparel, which refers both to his hometown, I'm not going to try to say that, and personal motto, negative attitudes lose opportunities. I like that. So positive dude. Durable, didn't miss a game in 3 seasons at Arizona, all 37 games he played. That's pretty impressive. Ranked number 1 all-time at Arizona in receiving yards with 3,423. Number 3 in touchdown grabs with 26, and number 4 in catches with 213. Before we get into the injury and character concerns, what's your all's thoughts so far? Anything change? How are we feeling about it?
I think one of the things with T-Mac that doesn't get talked about enough is the FBI and the football IQ that he has. We talk about the physical attributes and, the catch point and the route tree and all these things, but he's a smart player for a young player and a guy that I think would catch on pretty quick in the NFL. The thing I'm struggling with him is I see him going, relatively early in the first round. I could also see him slipping to the bottom of the first round, maybe even out of it, depending on how the board shakes up. So it's kind of where I'm at on him, but definitely he's, I feel like the mental aspect of his game doesn't get as much attention as the physical. He's a smart player.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tim. And I think maybe I should clarify my statements before. It's not that at 23 I wouldn't be super pumped. I think more what you said, Tim. I wouldn't feel comfortable giving up more draft capital to move up to chase a guy like Tet. But, I mean, there's no denying what this guy brings to the field. He's about as consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. If you give him opportunities, he's going to give you production. And I think a good point is that what Coach Lynn highlighted here, he goes, I think McMillan was bored in college. That may be why he looked disinterested at times. It sounds like maybe a drastic statement, but it's not. It's literally, it's like when Emilio's playing Madden and he's playing on, rookie, and he's running up scores 120 to nothing because he's got no real skills. That's what he gets bored.
I can see Emilio running to his computer right now.
I know. I hope he is. Yeah. But it's the more you read about him, I mean, the durability. Look at freaking Emilio. Where is he?
I love it.
Always rookie and always self-adjust the sliders all the way to the right for himself, right?
Always. All right, injury and character concerns. McMillan has been mostly durable, playing 37 games over 3 seasons. Through a lower leg injury in spring of 2024, sidelined him for part of fall camp, yet he missed no games. He played through minor ankle tweaks in 2023 and 2024, showing toughness. Off the field, McMillan is a high-character leader, praised for his work ethic and team-first mentality. Coaches vouch for his maturity and preparation, despite anonymous scouts claiming he doesn't love the game, stemming from a secretly filmed comment where he said he doesn't like watching film outside the facility, falsely reported as, quote, refuses to watch film.
Yep.
No off-field issues have been reported. His Polynesian College Football Player of the Year award in 2024 reflects his cultural leadership as well. So
let's go.
Again, they said
he was known any Polynesian prospects that turned out not to be good football players. Like it's just the streak is just
all good.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. Coach Lynn said he said about the film 2 years ago, coming from Hawaii. I wouldn't like watching film either in college. You got that right. So again, it got reported as he refuses to watch film. He thinks he's too good to watch film. And on that video, he just said, yeah, I mean, I really don't like watching film outside of the facility. Like, that's basically you're saying and he was a freshman in college when he said that, by the way. And that got reported, as you guys remember. And I want to give a shout out to Warren Sharp, not that he knows who the hell I am, but he got very vocal on this. Like, it's ridiculous that it took 24 hours to us to figure out this video is from his freshman year. The people who posted that video, the people that reported on that video, conveniently left that part out as if it happened this year. So I think this is just like the James Pierce Jr. stuff, man. It's just like you can tell people are putting as much stuff out as possible to get these top-ranked prospects to drop as quickly as they can. RAS obviously incomplete. There's no reason to test to the max, in my opinion. Composite size grade was elite, though, 6'4", 219. 40-yard dash was a 4.53. There were some reports that it was sub 4.5 40. The official on the card is a 4.53 arm length, 31.5 inches. He's got 10-inch hands as well. So the catch radius, big hands, absolutely huge. Here's his draft projection. Tet McMillan projects as a top 10 pick in the 2025 NFL draft, aligning him with his number 5 ranking on the PTA big board. His combine measurables, we just talked about, we're not going to repeat them, and on-field production make him a scheme-versatile fit for Green Bay's need for a dominant outside receiver to complement Jordan Love's play style. His ceiling is a perennial Pro Bowl wide receiver 1, akin to Mike Evans or Drake London. By the way, people were comparing him to those two players, and Greg Cosell said he's a better version of Drake London, is what he said. That's how he felt. Okay. While his floor is a reliable number 2 receiver, the Packers' visit paired with his Big 12 Pro Day performance and meetings with teams like the Jets and Patriots signals a strong top 10 buzz, and his record-breaking Arizona tenure could push him into the top 5. He's the number 1 receiver on the PTA big board. And if you look where he's been mocked here lately, April 15th, not to the Saints. April 15th, 12th to the Cowboys. April 14th, 5th to the Jaguars. April 14th, 8th to the Panthers. April 14th, 12th to the Cowboys. On April 14th, CBS and Michael Rainer, or Rainier, however you say the name, had him going 23 to the Packers. I think if he lasts to 23, there's no way Goody can pass up on Tet McMillan at 23. No. I just don't think he's going to be there. I really don't.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts on Tet McMillan, gents?
Yeah, I got a question. Well, first of all, I don't think he's gone past Dallas at 12, because I think either Dallas, if they're going to do something with Genty or something, they have to make a splash play. Like Jerry Jones is just on his last limb, and I feel like it just seems like such a good spot. Not what I'd want him to go, but it just seems like that the Cowboys, Tet, it just seems like a match made in heaven. That's my opinion. Now, Tim.
Cool. Jaden Higgins at 23. Let's go.
All right. I was just going to say, what situation would you feel more comfortable with? And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but would it be trading up anywhere in the first to get a Tet, or trading up in the second to get yourself a Jaden, Mr. Higgins?
Well, I don't like the idea of trading up for either, to be honest with you.
Exactly. But
I'm looking to trade back. If Ted's there at 23, run the damn card. But if the value is just too good, you're talking about a top 5 prospect. If our board, let's just pretend, and I know it doesn't, let's pretend for a second, our PTA big board looks just like Brian Gutekunst's. If he's there at 23, he's going to be the highest graded prospect on the board, hands down. The rest of those guys are going to be gone, no doubt about it. And again, you get him in for a top 30 visit. Jacob, you were kind of a little worried about the speed, right? Like it might not be as good as people are reporting. They're going to get a look at that. Jaden Reed, right, if you'll remember, he ran a 4.5 40 as well. And then later, Goody and them had him in for a top 30 visit. And after they drafted him, they said, yeah, we had a 4.4 speed on him in-house. So that could happen as well, right? And that's where we're obviously not behind the scenes. But they'll also get a good feel for, all right, is this dude all about football? And that seems to be one of the concerns because of the anonymous reports, you know. So
what do you think about this? So obviously H.E. Soder says if you want Higgins, you got to get up to 23, assuming he's there. Eldegrim, who, by the way, welcome back, haven't seen you in a minute. I like this. He says, trade back in the first, get Amos, use that draft capital to trade up and grab Higgins in the second. Oh, that'd be so amazing.
Trade back in the first, get Amos, then use that draft capital to trade back up and get Higgins. That makes a lot of sense.
It really does, doesn't it?
Amos in the first, if you trade back and get a little closer to that 32nd pick, that makes the Amos pick seem a lot more legit to me. Although, if they take him at 23, then that means he wowed them with the visit, right? Trey Amos being he, obviously. So what do you think about that scenario, Tim? Would you be okay with that?
I would, in a perfect world, right? We get this extremely talented corner and we end up with an extremely talented receiver with the first 2 picks in the draft. I mean, kick your feet up and relax the rest of the draft. At that point, I'm sure we would take care of our D-line needs and some of the other areas we talked about. So I'm not totally against it. I'm just I'm wondering what the likelihood is that we go corner and or wide receiver in the first or second round in this draft. I think there's as strong a case or as strong a chance as there's ever been this year. But that being said, like you always talk about precedence, Clayton, I just it's been a long time since we took a flyer in the first round.